Peace and blessings, everyone. Welcome back to the Humble Servant Homestead. Today we are out here. I came on out to the garden just to check on a few things and just to see how everything is doing out here in the garden. And I said, hey, you know what? Let me come on in just to give you all a look or a view of what is going on with our squash. Now, to note the date, today is July the 12th, okay? And I just want to show you all what these squash are looking like that I planted in, I'll say, in the middle of spring, okay? These squash did have a bit of a late start, and so I want to come on in and actually show you guys the good, the bad, and the ugly of what's going on with these squash here. Now, um, you all do know that what I use for these squash is the neem oil, castile soap, and also diatomaceous earth. Now, you may not see much diatomaceous earth down there on the base of these plants right now. Simple reason why we have been getting a lot and lots of rain. And yes, I am thankful. Okay, I am thankful for all that rain that we are getting, and the temperature has been real cool, which is helping a lot of the stuff inside of the garden to grow real nicely. But comes with that is also weeds. All right, now as y'all can see, pull this back right here, we have quite a bit of pollination going on with these bees, and also those cucumber beetles and different stuff like that. But nonetheless, you all know that, hey, I do like to trellis up my squash. Okay, now, and that is probably the reason why these squash last for so long. Simple reason why I put a stake in the ground and I train them to climb up this stake right here. All right, now as y'all can see, it is a lot of leaf growth going on inside of here. Yes, it is about that time to come on in and start pruning back these leaf. Camera lady is, hey, it's time to prune them up. But right here, because me,
They itch.
yeah, they itchy, yeah, they got the little, spike on them and stuff like that. It doesn't really bother me like that too much. Yes, they do itch and they do have the spike, but when I come on into work, guys, I'm not worrying about that, okay? But right here on this plant, what we went ahead and did, uh, we left one of these on here to go to seed, okay? Now look on the size of this squash right here.
Beautiful.
That is, you just imagine if you were to leave them, how big they will get. Now the shell or the skin on this squash right here is actually pretty hard, but I think it still have quite a bit more ways to go for those seeds inside. I like to leave them here on the plant for the seeds so that they can develop real nice, and so we can have some real nice seeds. Now usually whenever you let them go to seed, sometimes they slow down production, which in this area here, it was not much squash in this area to this point, but as we can see, we have one that is putting on squash. But guess what? This is about a day old squash. It has not filled out as yet the way how we like them, so we can pick them. So we're probably going to leave that on here probably about another day. Even if it still doesn't fill out all the way, we'll leave it in another day. Now, yes, the seeds will start develop on the inside of them, but for me, that is fine. The way how we cook them, we'll cut them, pare out the seeds, and use the flesh. All right, but as y'all can see, the squash, they are looking really nice, but I'm gonna tell you, not all of them in the garden is looking nice, and so that's what I want to do here today, is show you the good, the bad, and the ugly. But what I'm going to do, me and camera lady, we're going to just walk down the line right here, and we're going to talk a little bit about these squash. So come on in and let's go. All right, and so as y'all see this one here, we're still having some squash coming on that one. Right here is another one. Now, like I said, this squash is right probably about a day and a half old, and we do need to come on in and pick that one right there. And look at that. It's
Pollination.
pollination. And so this right here is your male squash, and this is your female. And so, you know, they have been doing their thing. And so that right there is more. And as y'all can see, these plants, they are super healthy. Okay, now I'm gonna let you know, is not all of them looking healthy like that in the garden, and I'll show you guys that in just a moment. Now this one right here is not a squash that we have left to go to seed. Simple reason why my wife, she came on out here and she said, hey, I like the way, now they're all the same variety, but she liked the way how those two were looking. And so we're saving some seeds from these right here. And as these plants get closer to the top of the trellis, we'll probably let them go ahead and seed out. Okay, we'll probably leave 2 or 3 squash on that plant and let them all go ahead and seed out, just to save seeds for next year, because that is a good thing for you all to do. Make sure, guys, that if you're planting something and you like or you love the way how a plant is growing, please make sure that you guys save seeds, all right? Because it doesn't necessarily mean that you will get this variety again ever, all right? So save seeds, put it in your little seed bank so you can have seeds for a later date.
Yeah, because I don't know if they remember last year and year before, squash seeds, specifically yellow squash seeds, were hard to come by.
Yes.
They were hard to find. So it's very important to save your seeds, guys, and that way you can ensure that you have that same variety, you know, year after year.
That's right.
Save your seeds.
All right, so come on down. And so here we have one that is loaded with squash. They're not of size just as yet, but they are nonetheless bearing fruit, and they're coming. All right, and so right here, and the thing about it is, it has been so humid here in Georgia, and we have seen plenty of bees activity going on here with these squash. So some of them, they're rotting out, and and don't know why that is, because we know that they're being pollinated. But nonetheless, we're going to move on down here. Now this is one of those plants that is not so healthy. As y'all can see, it is nowhere close to
The size
other
of
plants.
everybody else.
Yes. And so right down here is, one of the things that I also want to show you guys is this right here is a squash plant that I came out here late. I came out here a bit late to tie a rope around it to keep it on the T-post, and what happened, that weight from the top simply break this squash right here. So if you guys are trellising up your squash, that is something for you all to keep a note of. Come on out here and check them. If they reach maybe say about 6 inches or so, you want to go ahead and tie a knot of twine or string around that squash to support it, to keep it from snapping. And as y'all can see where it snapped at, right where the string was tied. All right, so keep that in mind, guys. And so right here is the rest of our squash. Now these here is a crookneck variety, crookneck squash, and as y'all can see, it looked like they have reached their life expectancy.
Expectancy.
Yes, expectancy. And so
they're pretty tall.
Yeah, they're pretty tall, but
they're not
bearing as much as they was early on in. So needless to say, guys, we have shown you all our squash and what is going on with them. And as y'all can see, there is no squash vine borer. We have lost none of these squash here to squash vine borer, and that is another year. So needless to say is that try that neem oil and castile soap and diatomaceous earth on your squash, and also try to trellis your squash up. Yes, it do take a little bit more time to come on out and tie them up and stake them up, but if you want to harvest squash over and over again, come in and harvest all the time, just stake them up so they can last a bit longer for you. When they're laying down on those ground, they're more prone to those squash vine borers. Okay, so nonetheless, I pray that you all take something away from this video here. I just want to say thanks to each and every one of you all out there for stopping by the Humble Servant Homestead. Now, if you like this little content you all got here today, go ahead, throw that thumbs up, like, share, and subscribe. And I just want all of y'all to have a blessed day.